Yes, yes.
Is it, well, you said to learn like more than one style. Is it better to learn more than one style at one time, or one, separately?
I tell people all the time, for me personally, like everybody else says, oh, learn everything, learn everything. I believe when you do that, you become kind of mediocre. They say the jack of all trades, never great at anything. I believe once you master your style, once you truly master it and put years in, then I think it's okay to take on another style and truly try to learn it. I mean, along the way you can learn little bits and pieces, I think, but if you want to be great, I think you truly have to focus on the style. Because you have to know it inside and out, and be great at it in order to shift to another style and be good. I think you can be great. I think I'm a great house dancer. But I'm not known for house dancing. Other people see me dance house, like, oh, you dance house? I'm like, yeah, I love dance. Me and Terry met in the house club. But I believe I danced only hip hop. First I was probably hip hop, and then for 7 years I danced house to learn the dance. I never even taught house. I just learned and learned and learned and learned and learned and learned and learned because I wanted to be great at it first. I'm a terrible locker. I'm whack at locking. And I can do it, but I never wanted to put the energy into it because I wanted to be great at my two styles to make my name. There's some people out there that have the talent and the ability to be good at a lot of stuff. Eric Stretch is really good, but he's years and years in the game. Years and years of popping and hip hop, years and years and years. He's years in the game and really takes the time to really learn the craft. He has the time to take off and learn locking because he's mastered hip hop for so long. You know what I'm saying? So he can take the time to learn how to lock. Me, I just was never really, I love to watch it, but it was never something that I could do really well, so I just didn't do it. But I believe, I think you can become good at a lot of things, but to be great, you have to focus on something. I mean, that's just like anything I think. If you're going to be great in business, you can't say, I'm going to be great at this business and I'm going to do this one at the same time. It's really not going to happen. You put yourself in too many spaces at one time. Any other questions? Yes.
So, like, there's not really a house or hip hop scene here. How can we
develop it?
Yeah.
Like I said, anything that when you're starting out is hard. It's very hard to make a shift in the system. Especially today too, because then you have the choreo heads who are saying that they're hip hop, and then you have all these little kids going to the choreo classes, and then you can't build your scene because they're like, I'm losing all these kids to the studio that says they're teaching hip hop, but they're not learning hip hop. Today it is a little bit more difficult because of the structure of the system that's set up. YouTube and these choreo studios that make it say, hey, no, we're trying to build a hip hop scene here. We need to get together and vibe and build sessions, and then maybe we can have a club night, and then people can go out and dance together. But it's hard because you're fighting two battles at one time with the way the system is set up. But I also believe that you can develop it. In Hong Kong, I would go in Hong Kong for years and years and years and years and years and years. I would go there forever. Just recently, the past 3 years, the hip hop scene is now exploding. It was all commercial. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of drive to get those 1 or 2 people that are down for what you're down for and to make it build and grow and show the people. And I think once you start really knowing the craft of it and knowing the dances and really showing them what it is, then you can also build it up. Because then once more people understand and get to know it, then they can start to fall in love with it and say, hey, you know what, I'm down for what you're down. And then the more people start to come around, and then you start to go from there. You gotta have more house lessons. You gotta find a way to bring some people in and say, hey, you know what, teach us more because we want to learn. Or like I said, we'll go to these type of camps and say, you know what, I know all these dope teachers that we have, I'm gonna learn this so that I can come back to my city and give it to people more. At least the people that are at least in your vibe, in your session, and then you start to build it up. And then you find the DJ like Spin House, and they say, hey, let's have a party one night. And then eventually you'll see that it's going to start to grow. But it's going to take time because you're in a different era right now where you're battling YouTube and choreo studios. But you can do it. Change needs, you got to believe it. You gotta work hard for it. Yes.
I have a question. So when I'm kind of confused with the New Jack and what is like the social party dances, like where does New Jack come in, or like what is the New Jack?
Okay, this is always good for us. The funniest thing was like when we first started in Japan, and they was like, can you do the New Jack? We didn't know what the hell they were talking about. We're like, what? What's that? What is that? It's New Jack. I didn't even know Because those dances we called it hip hop. All those dances we made up to hip hop songs. Teddy Riley made up New Jack Swing music in the later 80s. He was a big time producer, very popular producer. So a lot of the songs he made had that New Jack Swing, which was his style of production. A lot of those dances that you see in those videos that they call New Jack were made 4 years before any of that music was made. Were already being done. But then again, it's like, okay, so now hip hop's the new fresh dance. Jazz started to move its way out, hip hop started coming in. So you hire these young kids like Stretch and Shake and all these guys who, and a couple people that are now trying to do choreography. So what do? They do the social dances that they know to New Jack music. But it was never a New Jack dance for us, or hype, or whatever people call it. We just always called it hip hop because a lot of those dances were made to hip hop records, straight hip hop records. They weren't made to Teddy Riley's music. They weren't. So we always try to tell this, but it never really sticks because people just automatically associate that music in that era with the dances because of all the music videos, like Bobby Brown, Guy, and all these things that even Heavy D, because Teddy Riley was producer for Heavy D. Teddy Riley produced for hip hop guys also, so sometimes people associate the dances with that era of music, but it really wasn't. It really wasn't. That's why I say we just call it hip hop, really.
Word. Thanks, man.
Yes.
So I guess just going off of associating like the dance with the era of music, is that why sort of like there's this somewhat distinction between like what people call old school and new school, or maybe like the term you hear a lot, maybe nowadays is like new style. It's like, is it really a style, or is it more so just understanding like that the word itself is describing the era of the music?
Yeah, I hate it too. It makes me annoyed because it's like, it drives me crazy because like I said, any other style, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as old school popping, old school locking, old school breaking. Now, even in the b-boy classification, there's an innovation to the dance. All those big air moves and all those air flares, and those are all new movements that came about. The first b-boys rocked all the time, and then it transitioned to the floor. But there was never a time where you said, oh, that's old school b-boy. You don't. But with hip-hop, they do, oh, that's old school. They're trying to define the era. It's hip-hop. Because if you're studying hip-hop, you would know that dances come and go. The Harlem Shake was crazy popular. Chicken Noodle Soup was crazy popular. Hard Jackie was crazy popular. Monastery was super popular. Tone Up was super popular. Now, all these dances together today make up the dance called Get Light. You need social movement.